Welcome back to Hybridpit. Today we are installing GR Corolla calipers and rotors to your Gen 3 Toyota Prius, which is the Prius 2010 to 2015. And here's all the parts needed. We have the Brembo rotors, we have a Corolla GR calipers, OEM brake pads, shim kit and hardware for your brake pads, custom bracket rotor ring, and the bolts that will go to the bracket from 350 PHI. Thank you 350 PHI for sourcing out all of these materials. Let's get started. One thing to take a note when you're replacing brakes for your Toyota Prius, make sure you're removing the battery, or you can disconnect this white cable right here. To take it out, there's a pin right here in the very top. Make sure you push that down and pull it out. Remove your wheel. Now we're gonna remove the brake caliper and rotor. It's recommended to have one of these hangers to hang your caliper. Before you remove your caliper brackets, let's first take out the pads. When the pad is off, you can go ahead and remove the caliper brackets. You're gonna need a 17mm socket on the back. Use a breaker bar if you can take it out with an impact gun. Now that your caliper is out, go ahead and put it aside. And let's remove your rotor. Sometimes the rotor is stuck. You're gonna put a screw right here. I believe it's an M8 by 1.25. Screw in there, and then that screw will help take off the rotor. Before installing the rotors, remove the wheel hub and the shield. Start by removing the strut mount bolts and the 3 bolts securing the lower ball joint. The strut mount bolts are 22mm, so you're gonna need a 22 socket and a ratchet, along with a 22mm open end wrench. Use a 17mm socket for the lower ball joint hardware. Next, use a 14mm socket to remove the wheel hub bolts. There are 4 bolts located behind the hub that must be removed. It's a good idea to clean the hub assembly before reinstalling it to make sure assembly is easier. This is also the ideal time to replace the wheel hub if it's damaged or already due for a replacement. Once the hub is back in place, reinstall the axle, strut bolts, and lower ball joint hardware. Be sure to torque all hardware to the manufacturer's specification. Install the rotor ring provided by 350 PHI, then mount the rotor and check for proper clearance. Finally, install the GR calipers using the supplied 17mm bolts for the caliper bracket and the caliper itself. Let's do a quick test on the rotor. So spin it, no rubbing sound. Then we're gonna install the brake pads. Once your brake pads are in, we're gonna go ahead and tighten up the caliper bolts for the bracket and the caliper itself. So we're gonna use a 17mm socket and make sure you torque it at 74 foot-pounds. Next, reconnect the brake line to the caliper. Make sure to install washer on both sides of the brake line when installing the 14mm banjo bolt. Now that everything is installed, make sure your brake lines are clear. So one way to check it is you pull it all the way to the right and then pull it all the way to the left. Make sure that it clears. Everything clears from there. Put your wheel on, turn it right and left, make sure it clears the caliper. Before anything, we still have to do a couple things after you install the calipers, which is we're gonna bleed the brake lines, make sure that all the lines doesn't have any air, as well as you saw in the video that I removed and replaced the wheel hub, so we're gonna make sure this one is tight later on. That's it for installing the GR Corolla brake for your Prius. Hope you guys like it. This is Hybridpit. Enjoy the rest of the time-lapse video. Thank you again to 350 PHI for sponsoring this video. We'll be posting a full part list soon at Hybridpit once 350 PHI uploads the GR bracket purchase links to their website. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Hybridpit for the latest updates, plus more Prius repair, mods, and tips. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you next time at Hybridpit.